Hey folks, how's it going? So this video is going to be a little bit different than normal. Don't worry, there will be crypto shizzle in here and wealth gen stuff, but at the moment I'm struggling to open a freaking door. Here we go. Oh dear God, I can't open a door. Here we go. Yeah, so I've been flying pretty much all my life. Started gliding when I was about 14. Did loads of air cadet stuff, got my private pilot's license when I was 17 before my driving license. I got my PPL when I was 16. I remember used to getting a taxi to the airfield to go flying because I couldn't drive a car. And then I joined the Air Force and all that sort of shizzle. However, I haven't stopped flying. And I now see flying in a completely different context to how I used to. So I'm just trying to find the key to get there. This is the hangar. Key. Right. Yeah, so I see flying in a completely different context now. And I see it as a little time machine because obviously I've been hell for leather in business and wealth generation for the last 15 years now. And when you're hustling and bustling, setting up your businesses and whatnot, you're all about cost reduction and stuff. So you will literally skimp out for a big chunk of your life, make loads of money, and then you end up spending way more money for convenience. And I will always spend heavily for convenience. And these days, I see flying as my personal time portal. Oh yeah, here's a hangar, loads of cool planes here. So this is my little steed. It's not much. If you were to equate it in terms of cars, I guess it's the equivalent of a BMW M3. So it's practical. It's actually quite economical. It does 48 miles per gallon, and it will cruise at about 150 knots, which is about 170 miles an hour, pretty much as the crow flies. So the thing is, I use this now to save time. So for example, for business. So the other day I had an important meeting in Sheffield with a couple of guys, and it was going to cost them about 3.5 hours driving to Norwich and then 3.5 hours back. So instead I was like, I'll just fly up to Sheffield. It took me 30 minutes. So I saved them 7 hours of flying, so that helped. And today I've got a pretty important meeting down in Gatwick. So to drive from Norwich to Gatwick is what, 3.5 hours? So yeah, pretty much the same. 3 hours, 3.5, depending on traffic. So yeah, today I'm going to save myself 7 hours. And I'm going to take you with me, I guess.
Good to go, folks. Nothing's on the approach. Using all of the runway like a sensible person. There's that centre line. Fuel pump is on. Nose all straight. Okay, let's do this. Takeoff power set. Golf uniform November, rolling 07. Okay, ASI live. Warning lights out. T's and P's in the green. At 65 knots, lifting that wheel off, a bit more right rudder, finding at best angle for the moment.
Golf November, Uniform November, link information, good morning, pass message.
Golf Uniform November is an RV6A 1POV routing from Old Buck to Red Hill. Currently 7 miles south of Honington. I'll be routing between Southend and Stansted. Currently 1500 feet on 1018 VFR, basic service.
Golf Uniform November, thank you.
Golf Uniform November, runway 36, surface wind 070 degrees 9 knots, clear to land. Standing final 36, clear land, Golf Uniform November.
Right, I'm here at Red Hill and there's no cafe. And this is the man I'm come to meet. What's your name?
Jason.
And
Jason Greystone.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm just a pleb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are just a couple of plebs.
Just a couple of plebs looking for some coffee.
You're looking for coffee. And he came in his Harley, so basically we're both waiting for a taxi now.
It was meant to look like a scene from Top Gun, but it's like far from being that cool.
Yeah, I was looking forward to like going on the back and hugging you. Anyway.
A few moments later.
Look at this legend.
It's actually not as impressive sound-wise because it's just a stock exhaust, but still a Harley. So.
Harley, no leathers, just getting a suntan on his way home.
Yeah. T-shirt. Calculated risk, mate.
Calculated risk. See you, buddy. Riding off into the sunset. Now, where's my plane? There it is.
A few moments later.
Okie dokie, it's been a pretty uneventful flight back from Red Hill. And one of the things that I'm constantly doing is risk management. Not only just with flying, like with today, but also with crypto. So, like in any facet of our life, there will be things that you think, or you're pretty confident that you are, the dog's bollocks, you have, almost 100% certainty on stuff. But unfortunately, what I found, especially in the markets, is that it's when you end up getting slightly too overconfident in something, your natural psyche could be there, could just ignore something crazy, I think we've all done that in crypto where you think, oh, this is a sure thing. So I guess you shouldn't ever over leverage. This is why I'm always harking on about having a business, because if your investments, go to pot, then you got some sort of cash flowing asset to fall back on. And it's the same with flying. So one of the things I found with most sort of PPL holders and whatnot is that it's very, I'm surprised at how few of them do emergency procedures. Like I do this in crypto all the time, like I'm always trying to work out what would I do if, shit hits the fan. But every single flight I do a simulated engine failure, just so if in the event, or the unlikely event that, something, or if the shit hits the fan, I'm not going to absolutely flap and then do something even more stupid to compound the error. It's that whole Swiss cheese, the alignment of that Swiss cheese thing. So yeah, we're almost back at Old Back. So what we're going to do is, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to do a couple of errors, not too much, and then I'm going to link the simulated engine failure after one of the errors. So what I'll do is a little aileron roll, and straight into a loop, maintaining the speed, and at the top of the loop what I'll do is I'll simulate an unusual an engine failure basically, and then glide it all the way back in. And I guess that's the other thing, if you're constantly simulating emergencies and whatnot, sometimes if you do it right, it can be a bit of a no-brainer. So let's do some Hazel checks. So height is currently 3,400 feet on 1013.
A few moments later.
Right, so you got my line feature. Putting the nose down, we'll do a left aileron roll, followed by a loop. Okay, there's 150. Just going to get my heels up, clear, and all the way over. The nose is naturally going to fall. There's dead wing is clear. Nose didn't fall as much, slightly sloppy, and pulling into the loop. Wings level. Looking over the horizon. There we go, and throttle idle, simulating some sort of engine pickup. Right, so first of all, wings are level, pulling through. All is good. And just like any engine failure, you're just got to go through. First of all, I'm going to maintain height. I'm going to bleed this airspeed off to maintain 80 knots, which is the glide speed. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Right, so that is the glide attitude. Just going to trim it out, and then I'll start looking at the relight. So it's normally a fuel issue, so check that the fuel pump is on, fuel tank, I've got sufficient fuel. I check the other tank, play around with ignitions. Let's just say it's a no joy. Just make a quick radio call. Golf Uniform November, simulated engine failure in the overhead, gliding to land. Cool, so that's
approaching altitude.
That's glide. Now we're going to simulate that we can't. It's no joy. And here we go. Right, so I've got the airfield and sight over to my left. You can't see it, unfortunately. I should really get more cameras. We are all trimmed out. And then I'll do practice, practice Mayday, 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 Mayday. Golf Oscar November, Uniform November. Engine failure in the overhead of Old Buck. Forced landing in Old Buck. Obviously I'll be doing a bit better. But here we go, we've got lots of time on our side. We are
leaving
all
altitude.
80 knots, I got the runway in sight. And yeah, we are idle, so we're just windmilling, there's no thrust coming from here. If anything, the prop is creating drag. Okay, so with this, we don't want to shock cool the engine too much. At every 1,000 feet, we need to do a quick engine blast. Bit of right rudder, there we go. So I've definitely got my airfield made. Right, starting the turn. But below 96 knots, first flaps. Retrimming. And now 70 knots I need to stick to. And we've got oodles of space. Golf Uniform November, long final 07, glide land. There we go. We are all trimmed out for 70 knots. Now the wind is from the south, so just adjusting for wind. Definitely have the airfield made. And turning in. Again, you can't see it on the video just yet, but the runway's over there. We're effectively base leg. Okay, turning in, right. Second stage flaps coming in, a bit more trim. Fuel pumps, mixture fully rich. P's and P's all in the green. All is hunky-dory. Okay, toes clears, mixture rich, carb heat's on, throttle is still idle, everything else is off, turning the autopilot off.
Message.
We are trimmed out, almost fully aft, because of the fuel. Golf Uniform November, short final glide land. There, we've definitely got the airfield made. Now let's do a little bit of a slip. So I've got height in hand, so I always aim to be a little bit long when you're gliding in. You never want to end short. So now adjusting my aiming point. There we go. And this is an inclined runway in 07. Toes clear. So, and there we go. That's the back wheels holding the nose wheel up. That's the nose wheel. There we go. And that is simulated engine failure from 3,500 feet after some arrows. But an engine failure doesn't have to be an absolute disaster if you prepare every day. Now obviously, I say this from the comfort of our own airfield, doing this in the overhead, but it's the same with crypto. Trading, investing full stop is not about predicting the future. It's about coming up with 3 to 5 realistic, probable outcomes, allocating action plans in, according to each scenario, then simply sitting on your hands and observing. Landing light strobes off, Golf Uniform November, active vacated. And then when something happens, you go, that scenario happened. And then you carry out the action plans. So you're not a future reader. You're simply, it's all about low risk, high probability outcome plays. There we go.
All right, back in the hangar.